Texas is in crisis. The state has seen more than 32,000 new COVID cases over the past 72 hours, and dozens of hospitals are out of ICU beds. But guess what? The GOP-led state legislature has other priorities. While there are plans to consider a bill appropriating federal COVID funds, the bulk of the current legislative session is focused on things like banning critical race theory for the second time, or blocking transgender athletes from competing in school sports. And, of course, that bill restricting voting rights, which is the reason nearly 60 Democratic lawmakers fled the state more than a month ago. Texas law requires a certain number of legislators to be present for work to begin, and most of those Democrats have not returned to the Capitol. So simply refusing to show up is their only way to block the anti-democratic GOP agenda. Meanwhile, those budget-conscious state Republicans are keeping the session active despite it costing taxpayers $43,000 a day. And in a dramatic escalation, the Republican State House Speaker has signed more than 50 civil arrest warrants for the missing Democrats, which means they can be detained and compelled to return to the Capitol. Joining me now is one of those Democrats, Jasmine Crockett, state representative representing Texas's 100th district. Representative Crockett, thanks so much for joining me. There is currently a civil warrant with your name on it. Are you concerned about being compelled to return to the Capitol in Texas? Because you're still in D.C. right now, aren't you?
I am in D.C. I'm actually very close to the White House now. And I'm supposed to be having dinner with two of John Lewis's brothers at this moment. I'm not concerned. For those that don't know, my background is that I am a criminal defense attorney, and we have some of the most amazing attorneys that have jumped on the case. So we are fighting this in various venues, and one of them is in Harris County, a county that, oddly enough, the Republicans have targeted all session long, including these special sessions. And so I do anticipate that I will be able to be victorious as it relates to a writ, which will allow me to walk about freely and do the work in my district until we have a hearing on the validity as to whether or not the speaker can even effectuate these warrants.
So the Republicans, I think, are now around 5 members short of what they need to get their legislation passed. How long can Texas Democrats realistically keep this going? Civil warrants, arrest warrants or not?
I think so long as we have some protection from the courts, then we're okay. I think it becomes very questionable if we lose those protections. And right now, we're looking at being protected. And I believe that my colleagues are going to hold on. We have been fighting for so long, and we know that the fight isn't quite over. We know that we've done what we could do here in D.C. We saw what happened at 4 a.m. when our wonderful senator from Texas decided that he did not want any voting legislation to even be debated about. And so now people need to be at home. We need to be helping our constituency because, as you stated, our governor is failing all Texans, including our constituents. And so we need to be on the ground. We need to be helping out with COVID vaccinations. We need to be going door to door, making sure that we're checking up on people, making sure that they've got access to the information that they need to protect themselves. And honestly, I personally need to back up people like my county judge, who is going up against our governor as it relates to him deciding that there could be no mask mandates.
Representative Crockett, I'll be interviewing Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen in a moment. What is your message to him, to Senate Democrats, when it comes to protecting democracy in Texas and elsewhere? What do you want them to do that they're not doing?
It starts with passing H.R. 1, obviously. What I want Senate Democrats to see is that we have a governor that is hell-bent on doing whatever it takes to infringe upon the voting rights of the majority of Texans. He is so hell-bent that they are all about wrangling us into the chamber and making us be there to vote. Imagine that. They want to make us vote to take away the rights of so many. If they can do all of that with their majority, then what we could simply do is convince all of our colleagues on the Democratic side that this is bigger than Texas, that this is something that we've got to do to save democracy. That is what we were elected to do. Democrats tend to be the good guys. We need to be the good guys right now because we see what the bad guys are doing. And if they're doing it in Texas, they're going to do it in Georgia. They're going to do it in Arizona. They're going to do it in Florida. We see what they're doing. They are trying to take us down. And that's not what any of us should stand for. But we see that they are not the party of the Republicans that just have philosophical differences. We see that they are the party of Trump and the party of the Proud Boys and the party of insurrectionists. We need to save our democracy, and we need to save it like yesterday.
Yes, indeed, we do. Whether the Democrats in the Senate are listening, we will find out later on the show when I will be speaking to Senator Chris Van Hollen. But for now, Representative Jasmine Crockett, thank you so much for your time tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Every single Republican in the United States Senate just voted against even debating a voting rights bill. So where are the Democrats on killing the filibuster to save American democracy?
We have made progress, and we are showing very clearly to every one of our 50 senators that Republicans won't join us. And yet the importance of voting rights, if anything, has strengthened in the minds of everybody. Everybody.